Your lack of belief is crushing your profit. And in today's episode, I'm going to share why that is and how to fix it. Hey ladies, it's Amanda. Welcome to the Feel Amazing Naked podcast. This is a show where we dig deep, get honest, and talk about all the unsexy steps it takes to meet your goals. Whether you want to get fit, eat healthier, make more money, start a business, or any other results you desire in your life. Most of all, this podcast is for women who are ready to feel amazing naked on the outside and the inside. So ladies, time to take it off. Welcome ladies to this week's episode. I'm excited to walk through this very juicy mindset episode when it comes to building your coaching practice and online business in general. And I would say that this topic actually bleeds through everything in life because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you are experiencing a lack of belief in business, there are likely other areas that you are experiencing it. But before we dive in, I want to talk about an upcoming workshop I am hosting on August 3rd. Inside this workshop, I am going to be sharing the 5 coaching mistakes you can't afford to make in your business. And I will also talk about how to correct them, of course. So I want to help you really grow a wildly successful and profitable coaching business, even with your small audience. And I see a lot of mistakes being made with clients, and I want to help you correct them. So this workshop is for you if you're a new coach, you're starting out, you really don't have the clients that you want. So even if you have 0 clients, you should come to this free workshop. If you have a steady stream of clients, but you want to help them up-level their results, I'm going to talk about some ways to do that. And if you're a coach that's just sitting in self-doubt, and aren't sure, like, could I actually make a full-time salary doing this? Can I make a living doing this consistently? This workshop's for you. And if you just want to be a better coach, this workshop is for you. So you can visit amanda-walker.com/mistakes to sign up and reserve your spot now. So let's dive into this episode where I am talking about kind of a nugget actually from this workshop, but going a lot deeper with it. And I'm going to be talking about today why your lack of self-belief is crushing your profit. Or if you're not making profit yet because you're brand new at this, why this is also crushing your ability to even generate potential profit in your business. This is a heavy, juicy mindset episode because, as you know about me, mindset is everything. The reason we don't go out and take action in our life is because our thoughts block us from doing that. And sometimes our thoughts serve us, and oftentimes our thoughts limit us. And when we have greater self-awareness around those thoughts, then we're able to use some of the strategies I'm going to talk about today to actually work through and start to take action. So the areas that I'm going to talk about today are, I'm going to call out some of the most limiting thoughts that I have stumbled upon in myself and also see in clients quite frequently. I'm going to share how to combat some of those thoughts and what you must engage in order to move from this place of self-doubt to this place of deep self-belief. So let's talk about some of the common thoughts that come up inside of our work in the beginning. And I also want to say that it's really next level new devil, because no matter where you're at in business, you kind of like see this thought and then you butt up against this in the beginning, right? Some of these thoughts you don't even know in the beginning exist because you've never tried to grow a business. And so you try to grow a business and all of a sudden your head's like pushing up against this glass ceiling that was completely invisible for you before. And you're like, wait, I didn't know this about myself. That's because you've never been here right now. Just like when I became a mom, I didn't know that I would have doubts about being a mother because I'd never been a mother before. And so like motherhood, the way I went out and gained confidence in myself as a mother is actually how we do the same thing in business. Sometimes business just feels more foreign to us, and we're surrounded by people that appear to be doing it, overnight successes. One of my great friends runs an extremely successful product-based business. And he always says to me, yeah, it took me 26 years to be an overnight success. And I always hold on to that very deeply because it's very, very true. So here's some common thoughts that I often hear that are causing a lack of confidence inside of my clients and inside of listeners, inside of you as you navigate these new waters. Or for some of you, maybe you've been hanging out in this space for a while and you're just not getting the results you want. I want to say that these thoughts are limiting you too. And I'm going to talk about why they limit your profit specifically. One of the common thoughts that comes up is, I am not ready. Complete bullshit. Like as though there's a time where you feel ready. I'm going to use a lot of parenting examples today because they're coming to me, but it was kind of like Justin and I, We're like, we'll just be ready when our finances are more in order. We'll just be ready when the schedule permits. We'll just be ready when we've gone and traveled more. And then all of a sudden we've done some of the things. We got the first child and we're like, we're still not ready. It was like a crap shoot of stuff happening. And I was like, I'm not ready for this. I still feel like I'm a 14-year-old girl in my mind. How am I possibly going to parent now? And the same is true in business. You can tell yourself the story all day long that there is a place where you will feel ready. And I'm guaranteeing you right now that is not the case. Thought number one. The second thought that often comes up in this journey that creates a lack of self-belief is like, there's already so many people doing what I'm doing. Like, have you got on Instagram? Have you looked at social profiles? Have you gone to these network events? There's so many people doing what I'm doing. You guys, I just attended the Life Coach School's mastermind event. There were 15 to 1800 of us in the room, just life coaches, you guys, just life coaches. And people are having success because there is a ocean filled with people that need coaches. And nobody is going to do it with your voice and your passion and your flair and your ability to build rapport and connect. So the thought there are so many people doing what I'm doing, there's no space for me, is just a thought. And it's one that is limiting you, and it's one that is creating a lack of self-belief. So you might see yourself inside that thought. A third thought that I often hear is, I am not far enough along to serve people. This one is so powerful because I struggled with this one a lot because I came from an academic setting where I really, really respect the academic world. And I still totally do. I want to say that, nothing to take away from that. But there have been people in my life that have been highly academic driven, have tons of book knowledge, have tons of lab experience, and their ability to coach and transform and communicate with people was horrible. Horrible. They can have all the book smarts they want, but that does not translate to your ability to elicit results from people, from real life humans. So sometimes we also think like, I don't have it all figured out. I don't have every single part of my life in order. How am I going to go coach other people when I'm still perfecting this thing inside of me? For example, it's like if you've lost 50 pounds and you're like so excited to go teach somebody else how to do that, but your goal is 75 and you haven't lost those 25. Well, sure, you lost 50 though, and that's a lot more than many people can say. But we get stuck in like the falling short piece, I don't think I've figured this out, I'm not far left along, I'm not perfect. You guys, I am not perfect either. And the mentors that I've hired are not perfect either. And that's actually why I lean into them, is because many of them are willing to show me that they're still figuring it out. They're just further along than me. And really, that's it. You just got to be a few steps ahead because you're going to keep moving at that cadence and you're always going to be ahead of your people, and you can offer that support. And that's why I actually think guiding people, and this isn't a blast to any business coaches, but there are people out there that business coach people and they've never actually run their own business, or they start coaching people in business and they haven't really made much money on their own. No problem there. Go do, I'm all about service. But there's something to be said when you can say like, hey, I see you. Like, I've been in those trenches. I've been in that hard place, just like I'm telling you today. And I know what it's like to have these thoughts. And I also know what I did to get out of them. And if I can offer you that, like, this is the example of what's possible. So thought number 4, I need to do like more free stuff. I need to give more free value, more free coaching, give away free stuff so that I feel more confident. No, that's just a thought. And it's a limiting one, because the reason you want to give a free stuff away is because you don't believe that your ability to give results is actually viable yet. So you have this connection with money that if I take money for this, then, oh my gosh, it's going to mean something different. And I want to really tell you that this is one that is totally going to block you from profit. And I see it a lot. I actually really challenge my people to just coach one person for free, one beta client, collect all the data you need. And then let's start coaching at like a small revenue amount that feels easy. And just to get in the practice of exchanging energy through the form of money as your currency, so that you can start practicing some of those money conversations and engage in your own money beliefs. And lastly, number 5, I don't know enough. Like, I don't have enough training. I need more certifications. If I just have those things, then I will believe in myself more. And then guess what? How many clients have come to me after they've done all those things and they're like, Amanda, I guess I didn't need those certifications. I just needed to hire you first because you helped me see that it wasn't the certification that's actually giving me the confidence, right? It's the other things that I've been doing that I'm going to talk to you about next that have actually served me. So those are the 5, I think, thoughts that most often come up that create a lack of self-belief. And I'm sure I missed some here, and you might have others that come up as you listen. But those are some of the most frequent ones I hear and also fell into myself that I definitely think impact us. So then why are these creating a lack of self-belief? Because I want to reiterate that our thoughts drive feelings inside of us. So when we think these thoughts, the frequent feeling that comes up is doubt, right? Or shame or guilt or some of these, which all I would say fall into this larger bucket of disbelief. Like, I don't have self-confidence. I lack confidence in myself. And so why this actually translates to profit is that when we are sitting in doubt and a lack of self-belief, we don't go take action. We don't go do the things that actually matter to us. So we don't go out and try to find new clients. We don't put ourselves in positions to put offers into the world. We don't get in front of our ideal client. You don't really do the action that is necessary to generate results. And if we're not taking that action, guess what? We make no dollars. We don't make any money. We don't make the profit. And instead we get caught up in some of these other forms of action, which we would just fall under the passive action side. And as a reminder, passive action is that energy of consumption where you're just doing stuff because it feels good and it feels like you're making traction and you're not doing anything. Like listening to all the podcasts, which I want you to stay. I don't want you to go, but I am going to call you out on it. That listen all you want, but then go do the thing. Like after this episode and you listen, then go commit to yourself and go take one massive action step. Or we read the books or we have conversations with people. We might even go podcast, write a blog. I don't believe those things are passive action. Putting ourselves in a position to actually fail and get no's and risk failing in front of people, that's where massive action happens. I mean, I always use this example and I'm going to repeat it again. It's often like clients will say, well, I'm not finding any clients. I was like, okay, well, when did you ask for clients? When did you go out and put yourself in front of a place to make an offer? Oh, I haven't. I'm like, yeah, they don't just magically appear out of thin air. We have to go be risky. We have to go be uncomfortable in order for that to happen. So massive action equals the potential for revenue. And if our thoughts are causing us or preventing us from taking massive action, then we are not going to see our business's bottom line, the profit we want, actually go and grow. So this shows us the intangible, the stuff that's happening inside of our mind, and how it's directly correlated to the stuff that actually lands in your bank account. So if you tell me that mindset has nothing to do with business, I call you complete BS. In fact, if you're not working on mindset in business, I believe that you are going to always cap yourself. Because part of success as a coach and a practitioner is experiencing our own breakthroughs. We can't call our clients out on their own minutia if we're not calling ourselves out on these limiting thoughts. So if we're not willing to push the edge of ourselves and take risks and ask the hard conversations, then we cannot expect our people to do the same. They sniff that ish out. They figure that out right away. And then you aren't congruent with yourself, which only honestly leads to more of a lack of self-belief. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about more in the workshop. And I want you to come so you can hear some of these mistakes, because this is kind of giving you a sneak peek again of what some of the things I'm going to talk about, because part of the mistakes you're making have to do with yourself, and part of the mistakes you're making have to do with how you deliver results or help your clients achieve results. So again, if you want to save your spot to that workshop, you can do so at amanda-walker.com/mistakes and sign up there. All right, so we talked a little bit about some of the most frequent thoughts that come up, why that actually impacts profit, right? Before I move on though, I want to say that even if you're not new, this happens, because again, there are thoughts that transform themselves over time. And you're constantly like hitting one ceiling, moving into the next. And you have to keep going. You have to keep going to attack these thoughts when they come up. Because if you're not doing this uncomfortable work, then that is the thing that is going to prevent you. And I said I wanted to share specifically, it's like the one thing you need to engage in order to move from that place of self-doubt to deep self-belief is massive action. Doing the thing that makes you scared as crap. Doing the thing that is so uncomfortable. And you guys, it passes. It passes. And you're like, okay, this didn't kill me. I can keep going. And there is so much value there. So then what do we do to fix this? If you're listening, you're like, yes, Amanda, I have all these thoughts. I definitely can see that they're impacting me, but I don't really know how to move past them. I don't know how to get out of them. And then I want to offer a few tips. The first is that these are just thoughts. And this is simple go-to assignment that I give clients often when they're feeling stuck in their thinking is write all these thoughts down. And I want you to just go label them as thought versus fact. And you find out, are these thoughts that are happening for you or facts? Again, fact being something that you could judge in a court of law and the judge would be like, yeah, that's 100% true, undeniable. What I think you'll find is that most of these are thoughts, which means you are choosing them and they might feel so freaking true to you. Like your brain is like, no, this is true. I'm not ready. I don't know enough. None of that is. You're judging that off of society's criteria of what is true and not, and that is not true. There are plenty of people out there that know far less than you that are doing similar work and having massive success because they chose to believe in themselves and get through these thoughts. So when you identify them as thoughts, that just helps you to see like you are choosing them. And when you choose them, you will sit in self-doubt and lack of self-belief because you have the capacity to not choose them. But what happens is we've been choosing them and they feel like the easiest, most accessible thought. So we just put them on repeat. Going back to my analogy of Pinto thoughts, if you think of that old worn out car, you've heard me mention this again on the show, is if you've been thinking that old worn out thought since 1970, like your brain keeps choosing it, or 1995 or 2021, whatever it is. If you're not giving your mind an opportunity for a new thought, a refreshed, updated Tesla thought or new Bronco thought, then the mind will always default to what is easy and what feels like the path of least resistance, which is going to be the thought that's not serving you. So how do we fix that? Then we have to create some sort of ladder thought to the next side. Like, how can we get to the other side? What's something that actually kind of feels believable to my mind right now so that I can at least start to present an option instead of the Pinto that feels more of an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to start to think something different. And when you think something different, you feel something other than self-doubt. And when you feel something other than self-doubt, you are more inclined to go out and take that action. The other thing that I think sometimes is just the reality is, people will say fake it till you make it. That is not my favorite thing. I don't love that idea, but I do love this idea of like, just go do the thing until you become it. Like fake it till you become it a little bit. And that is, we don't know in the beginning what it's like to be coaching 20 clients or making 6-figure revenue or growing a business from our home while we navigate family life. And so if you don't know because you haven't been there, like I don't know what it's like to have 18-year-olds because I've never had them, but I'm going to think about how I want to parent said 18-year-old someday and what I would do as a mom who's confidently raised great kids, in their 18-year-old bodies. And so I'm starting to think about like, what does a mom who has those kids, how does she parent? How does she act? What kind of conversations does she have with her kids? Because that's helping be my guiding light as I move through parenting. Same applies to business. So then what does the woman that has those things, that's coaching the 20 clients, that has this balance between work and life, who's running a successful business from her home while she navigates the parenting world, what kind of things does she do? Does she collapse in disbelief and self-doubt all the time? Does she keep choosing these thoughts? Does she take action even though it's scary anyways? And so going back to that, be her now, become the woman even though you may not have the actual outcome yet, because that's actually what will bring you the outcome of getting to that place. That for me is so powerful. When I feel stuck, I'm just like, okay, what does that woman in that place that I'm heading to, what would she do right now? How would she react? What would she say? Would she sit in her ish, or would she actually go out and, be a problem solver and think of things differently? Or would she sit on the couch and, engage in behaviors that aren't going to serve her? So if you want more of these tips and you want to talk more about some of these mistakes that bleed through all aspects of business, join me again in my free workshop happening on August the 3rd. Again, you can sign up at amanda-walker.com/mistakes. And I would love to help walk you through the 4 additional mistakes I'm going to be talking about and talk about ways to be in community and to be supported at this phase of your business that's going to bring you next level results, a little sneak peek, because doors are open for pre-enrollment for our Best Damn Coach program. And we're offering some amazing bonuses. We've already started having calls inside the community for those that are engaging and signing up at the founder's rate, which is going to be unlike any basically coaching program you've ever been a part of. And I don't want you to miss out. The Feel Amazing Naked podcast is growing, literally doubling downloads every single month. And it's humbling but really it's all because of you. So I just want to say thank you for listening and continuing to listen. Help us grow by sharing the Feel Amazing Naked podcast on your social media platform. If you're listening to an episode, take a screenshot, share it in your story, on your social, tag me, leave a review if you feel so inclined, but please allow me to help more women by sharing the awesome content that I create. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me.